Welcome to Happy, Healthy, Whole, and Rich, where faith meets action and transformation is non negotiable. I'm Tina Brinkley Potts, and I believe now is the time to step boldly into your power, walk in divine wisdom, and claim the life you were meant to live. Each episode, I'll bring you real, unfiltered truth because this world needs leaders who refuse to shrink. Let's get it. Welcome back to Happy, Healthy, Whole, and Rich. I'm Tina Brinkley Potts, and I know who I play for. We are deep into our Standing in Our Power series. And today I want to talk about something that trips up almost everyone who starts doing this work. You make a decision. You commit to a new way of thinking. You start feeling different, moving different, seeing possibilities you couldn't see before. And then one day, the old thought comes back. The old fear, the old pattern, the old version of you shows up like it never left. And most people in that moment decide it means they failed. It doesn't. Today, I want to tell you what it actually means and what to do when it happens. Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. Now, I want to pair that with verse 11, just 2 verses earlier, where Paul says, I have learned in whatsoever state I'm in to be content. I have learned. Not I was born with, not it came naturally, not I decided one day and never struggled again. I have learned. Paul, the same man who said none of these things move me. The same man who walked towards Jerusalem knowing what was waiting. He is telling us that contentment, steadiness, the ability to do all things is something you learn through practice, through repetition, through coming back to it again and again, even when the old patterns try to pull you back. The loop coming back is not evidence that you haven't learned. It is part of how you learn. Every time it comes and you return to your center, you get stronger. Every time you choose the new identity over the pattern, the new identity gets more real, more solid, more yours. That is not failure. That is process. I want to tell you about looking for a house. Right now, I'm in search of a new home. 5 bedrooms, a pool, a finished basement, a space that holds the life I'm building, not just the life I have right now. And I want to tell you how I'm looking for it, because it might surprise you. I'm not just looking at the square footage and school districts and comparable sales in the neighborhood. I'm feeling my way to it. When I go visit a property, I am paying attention to how I feel walking up toward the front door. I'm standing in the office space and asking myself, can I record content here without moving my camera and lighting equipment every time? Am I walking through the rooms and feeling whether this is the space? Not just thinking whether it checks the boxes, feeling whether this is it. And here's what's interesting. I visited several 5-bedroom homes that I thought could be the one. And they don't all look the same. Different layouts, different neighborhoods, different features. But I'm not looking for the one that matches a picture in my head. I'm looking for the one that matches the feeling in my body. That feeling, that specific frequency of already being home. That is my picture on the wall. Now here's where the loops come in. Some days I'm in full alignment with the vision. I can feel the house. I can feel my office. I can feel what mornings look like there. I'm in it. And then some days a thought creeps in. What if it doesn't happen on the timeline I want? What if the market shifts? What if I look at another house and I feel nothing? What if I'm being unrealistic? That's the loop. that old contracted thinking trying to pull me back into a frequency of doubt. And the first time it happened in this search, I noticed something. I almost let it mean something. I almost let it be evidence that maybe I'm reaching too far, that maybe the vision is too big. That's the trap. That's what I want to save you from. Because the loop coming back doesn't mean the vision is wrong. It means the vision is real enough to be tested. And every time you come back to the feeling of it, every time you return to standing in that imagined doorway, feeling what it feels like to be already there, you are not starting over. You are doubling down. I have learned in whatsoever state I am to be content. I want to sit with the word learned one more time because I think we rush past it. Paul didn't say I arrived. He said I learned. Learning involves getting it wrong and coming back. Learning involves the loop. Think about anything you've ever truly mastered. There was a moment, probably many moments, where the old way of doing it tried to reassert itself, where muscle memory pulled you back, where doubt showed up and said maybe you don't actually have this yet. And the people who keep going in those moments, the ones who double down on the new way, even when the old way feels more familiar, those are the ones who learn. Standing in your power is no different. It is a practice, not a destination you arrive at and never leave. Every loop that comes back and finds you returning to your center instead of collapsing into it is a lesson completed. Here is what's actually happening when the loop comes back. Your subconscious mind, what Ernest Holmes calls the subjective mind, has been running a particular program for a very long time. Years, maybe decades. It doesn't matter how committed you are to the new vision. The old program doesn't just delete itself because you decided. It resurfaces. It tests the new belief against the old one. And for a while, it will keep doing that. Not because you're failing, because that is how rewiring works. Neville Goddard taught that the secret is to persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Not to have it once and move on, to persist, to keep returning to it, to keep living in the imagination as if it's already done. That persistence, that returning, is exactly what the loop is asking you to practice. When the doubt comes and you return to the feeling of your new house anyway. When the fear comes and you return to the picture on the wall anyway. When the old identity resurfaces and you look at it, acknowledge it, and choose the new one anyway. You're not starting over. You are strengthening the signal. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, "The game of life is a game of boomerangs. Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later with astounding accuracy. Your new thoughts are boomerangs too. Every time you return to the feeling of the vision, every time you choose the new identity over the loop, that boomerang goes out, and it will return with astounding accuracy. The loop is not your enemy. It is the resistance that makes you stronger. It is the weight that builds the muscle. And every time you lift it and put it back down and choose the picture on the wall instead, you are doing the work that most people quit when it gets uncomfortable. Don't quit, double down. I want you to think about the vision you're holding right now, the picture on your wall, the thing you're believing for, building toward, and feeling your way to. And I want you to get specific about the feeling of it, not just the facts of it. First, what does your vision feel like? not look like, feel like. When you imagine yourself already living it, what is the physical sensation in your body? Is it spacious, light, settled, energized? Trying to name the feeling with as much precision as you name the details of the goal. Because the feeling is the frequency, and the frequency is the magnet. Second, what does your loop look like? What is the specific thought or fear that comes back to test you? What does it say? Whose voice does it sound like? Naming the loop takes away some of its power. It stops being this amorphous thing that overwhelms you and starts being the recognizable pattern you can respond to instead of react to. Third, what have you been making the loop mean? Have you been treating it as evidence that you're not progressing, that you're not ready, that the vision is too big? Write down what story you've been building around it, and then ask yourself if that story is data or projection. Run the DSP method on it, because most of the time, the loop itself is just data. A thought came. Everything else is story. Fourth, what does doubling down look like for you? When the loop comes, what is your practice for returning to the feeling of the vision? Do you go back to your journal? Do you physically visit the place or the thing you're believing for? Do you sit quietly and feel your way back into it? Design your return practice now, before the next loop comes, because it will come. And when it does, you want to already know what you're doing. And finally, where have you already come back from? Think about a loop you faced before that you returned from. A moment where the old pattern came back and you chose the new one anyway. That moment is proof. You've done this before. You can do it again. Here's the truth I want you to carry from today. The loop coming back is not a sign that you haven't changed. It is a sign that you are changing enough that the old pattern is being challenged. It is resistance, and resistance is not failure. Resistance is the indicator that something real is happening. Every time you see the loop and you choose to return to the picture on the wall anyway, you're not starting over. You're going deeper. You're making the new identity more real, more solid, and more permanent. Don't make the loop mean more than it means. See it, name it, and then go back to the feeling. The feeling of the house, the feeling of the life, the feeling of who you are becoming. Feel your way back to it every single time, because the vision you are holding is not too big. It is not unrealistic. It is not out of reach. It is simply waiting for you to keep returning to the frequency of it until the outer world has no choice but to catch up with what you already built on the inside. Double down on the picture on the wall. I know who I play for. Until the next time, be happy, be healthy, be whole, and most importantly, be rich in love, rich in peace, and rich in purpose. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, live it, and let's grow together. Head over to happyhealthywholerich.com for more powerful teachings and join the movement. Remember, your breakthrough is waiting, but you have to show up. Until the next time, stay happy, healthy, whole, and rich.